Are you staying at an RV park with ridiculous rules?
Here are the 10 dumbest rules you've ever seen at an RV park. Welcome back to the RV Odd Couple. My name is John.
And I'm Mercedes, and long story short, we sold most of our possessions to RV full-time in pursuit of freedom, independence, and adventure.
Because life is so short, guys.
It really is, and these rules are going to make your life even shorter. No, but seriously, this was not our regularly scheduled video, but we just had to address the topic because it was so front of mind. And we understand why RV parks need those rules, and you know, whenever you stay at an RV park, they'll usually hand you a list of the rules, and they're normal rules.
Just common sense stuff. Be courteous, kind, the golden rule, treat others the way that you want to be treated.
Pick up the dog poop. What are some other common ones?
No speeding. Don't trespass on your neighbor's lot. Just simple things that most people, know. Just be courteous of your fellow campers. That's it. And 95% of RVers are just like that. They're beautiful people. But there's always that 5% that kind of wreck it for everybody else.
And we're not talking about those RV parks that have those normal, understandable rules, right? We're talking about the ridiculous rules. So the first warning sign that you might be in a park with ridiculous rules is getting a huge, ginormous packet of rules.
Yeah, we recently stayed in a park and we've seen a lot of different rules. Some of them just downright ridiculous.
But when you get a packet of rules,
that's 13
that's warning
pages.
Sign.
Yeah, warning sign number 1 is when you get a packet that's 13 pages long. So now that you're aware of what to look out for when you pull into an RV park for the rule Nazis, here are the 10 dumbest, ridiculous rules we've seen in our experience so far.
And you better not break these rules.
So we recently stayed at a park where the rule of this park is that they gave you a name badge when you checked in, and you were supposed to wear your name badge no matter where you were. Now this includes having a pool and 5 hot tubs in this resort, but you still have to carry your name tag with you. At first we're like, well, where do you put it? We'll tell you about that one later.
And to be fair, how often have we had it that we meet a couple and we're like, oh, what were their names again? We forgot their names.
Right.
So I love the idea of like helping to remember people's names, but being obligated to wear the name badge, I think, takes the rule a little too far.
Yeah, and this park treated as your official identification, right? And so you're supposed to have this thing with you at all times. We thought that was a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a little too far. The next ridiculous rule is a dress code.
This one blew my mind.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy to imagine a dress code at an RV park when you're really camping and enjoying the great outdoors. I understand that there's certain like decency requirements, basic decency requirements, but I mean, if you have like a river or a pool, it's a campground, I can't get behind the dress code.
No, and this park was actually a park in Arizona, and where it gets to be really hot. But the dress code reads, shirts, shoes, and appropriate clothing must be worn in the resort at all times. Cover-ups should be worn from pools to jacuzzi and exercise rooms, which pretty much what this says is don't wear a bikini. Yeah. Now, in a 55-year-old park, it's probably not a big deal.
No, okay, but still, I think it's a little silly because I think you shouldn't even have to say that. We know to have...
Right, so you pull into a park and they have a dress code, pay close attention.
What's the dumbest rule that you've heard in an RV park? We'd love to hear your dumbest RV park rule. Please leave them in the comments below.
The next one is wearing a mask not only to the pool, the mask that we need to be wearing right now, or indoors. We get all that. What we have a problem with that we thought was very strange is that they actually want you to wear your mask into the hot tub or into the pool. Yeah, that was I mean, for me, I like going underwater. It could actually be like waterboarding. You know what I mean?
Little clarification could go a long way on that one. That was pretty ridiculous. The next rule that's kind of ridiculous is that you can't have your dog outside, even if they're like in a gate or if they're, they're perfectly safe. And here's why I think that's kind of ridiculous. If you live in a sticks and bricks, you leave your dog outside in the yard all the time. So provided that there's fencing and the dog can't escape, to not let the dog be outside is kind of silly.
Yeah, and I kind of understand this one a little bit because you don't want to leave your dog outside if it's going to be barking at people, or, you obviously want to watch them at all times. Most parks will let us keep Skippy outside on a leash, and Skippy behaves himself, but some parks will say the dog cannot be outside without you, meaning that you can't just leave your dog outside. You're going to have to be sitting outside with him, even if it's inclement weather. All right, this one drives me absolutely insane, but we've gone to a couple of parks now where you need to, if you're going to hang a flag. RVers love to hang their flags, whether it's their last name on it or, it's a funny saying. We have one for the RV Odd Squad.
Or the USA.
Yeah, but we've been to parks where they allowed two type of flags, a United States flag and then the state flag of the state that you're camping in, which I think is great, right? What I didn't like is that you needed to go down and get written permission from the front office to hang your flag. And I don't think you need to get written permissions from anybody to show your patriotism and fly the American flag.
Yeah, that was kind of silly. The next dumb rule has to do with hidden fees. And I cannot stand it when you think that the rate is, what, $50 a night or whatever it is, right? That's the rate. But then there's hidden fees like, oh, well, if you want this kind of extra 50 amp, there's an extra $5. Oh, if you want to receive mail, there's
we actually were in a resort that you needed to pay $20 to be able for them to accept packages there. And even then it's like, okay, well, they have to handle it. That's not the case. In this particular resort, the mail truck would come right to your RV spot, so nobody at the park even needed to touch it. Yeah. So we thought $20 was way too much.
Yeah. Or like they'll charge you for a gate card, but you need the gate card to get into the gate, but you need to pay a deposit for the gate card, but if you lose the gate card, you pay again. Well, and along with the whole mail debacle thing, I think it's really ridiculous when they won't accept mail on your behalf.
Right.
I've heard before that RVers running businesses out of their RV have put a big burden on the RV park staff. Like if you got tons and tons of packages, I understand why that's not acceptable. But when you're just trying to get a birthday present from grandma to the kid, I think it's a little, there's a certain amount of reasonableness that you should be able to accept mail on behalf of.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, they charge fees for pets, they charge fees for kids, which blows me away.
Or a certain number of people in the RV.
A certain amount of people. They have like everything you can imagine, they'll have a fee for it. Now, most parks don't do this, but typically the ones that do it pay close attention because those are the ones that really like to enforce their rules.
The next ridiculous rule is when you're not allowed to hang towels outside or clothes. And I get it, you don't want it to look kind of cheap with like your underwear out on the line.
Towels, but it's camping.
But at the same time, it's like, come on, just let people have towels outside. How else are you supposed to dry them? And most of these RVs don't have washer and dryer. So I think you should be allowed to hang out at least towels outside.
One of the rules that is rare, but we've seen it, is you're not allowed to play music or your TV outdoors.
Yeah, and that's kind of silly because I know you shouldn't be blasting the music, but come on, like a little bit of music outside, that's the best part. The next rule that we think is kind of silly is we've been to parks where you're not allowed to move the RV without somebody escorting you to your spot. Now, we do think it's helpful when you don't know where your spot is to have somebody in a golf cart show you, hey, here's the spot. But we've noticed it becomes more of a pain when the escort tries to tell you how to park.
We've stayed in a park where when you come through the gate, they assign you 1 or 2 escorts that will bring you down, show you your camping site, and then they're not allowed to leave until you finish parking.
Yeah.
Even more interesting, if you do decide to move lots or change lots, you need to wait for an escort to come and bring you to your new site, or you'll be fined or thrown out.
Yeah, and so I get it that they want to make sure there's no damage.
Yeah, liability.
But I think it kind of can become more of a hindrance when someone's watching you park or when they're trying to tell you how to park and it's not their RV, so they don't know that you have slides and you can't be right next to the tree because the slide won't come out. It actually gets in the way.
One of the things that our daughter loves to do when we're on a site that has pavement or concrete, the pads where you park, is Sage, and we carry chalk with us.
Oh yeah.
Sage loves to kind of, do hopscotch, and she's drawing pictures now. She's really an awesome artist. She's doing all this artwork. We were actually in a park that told us that we needed to remove that chalk before we leave, but here's the problem. We also couldn't use their water to do it because that would not be conserving water.
Yeah.
If you get caught not conserving water, that's an $85 fine. So Mercedes and I have to figure out a way, probably just to get buckets from inside the RV to come out here and then hand scrub the chalk off.
Or pray for rain.
Or pray for rain, one or the other, you know. And we're certainly not going to stop Sage from, you know, doing the chalk. She's an amazing little artist. We love her doing it.
But chalk at a campground should be fair game.
We think chalk at a campground is fine. Well, listen, Mercedes and I are all for rules, right? And most people, 95% of RVers and campers, they follow the rules. Common sense, courtesy, being kind and considerate to your neighbors.
Yeah.
But do you guys think that some of these rules are absolutely insane, that they're just ridiculous and a little bit of an HOA nightmare? Mm-hmm. Did we miss anything?
Yeah, or maybe you think we're ridiculous.
Yeah, or maybe we're being ridiculous.
And
but
that's
I
fine.
guarantee you there will be some of you who leave us horrible comments about why you shouldn't leave your laundry outside.